everyone, and welcome to another Pick a Card reading. So, today we're going to be looking at who are you really? Who are you, your core essence, your soul's energy, this kind of thing. So, I feel like it's going to be a fun reading, and we're just going to kind of keep it open and go from there. So, there are three groups to choose from. Go ahead and pick your group, and then I'll see you for your reading. Hello, group one, and welcome to your reading. So, let's find out who are you really? And I have two cards here. So, we have Saturn in Libra in the seventh house with devotion. Wow, I love this card's energy. See how it's got the sun and the moon? It's very interesting. Okay. And then we also have, the base chakra. So a lot of nature energy with your group. Let's just see. I was thinking, I'm going to pull a whole bunch of cards first, and then we're kind of going to channel from there. Answering the question, who are you really? So this is the Avalon Oracle deck. Let's pull some from here. Who are you really, group one? Who are you? Oh, the butterfly was beauty. Wow. Okay, you are beautiful. That's how spirit sees you. It's how the world sees you as well. Your soul is beautiful. Wow. The horse, accepting help from another, delegating authority. So I feel like who you really are is someone who helps people. I feel like you're a helper. All right, we're going to get a couple of astrology cards as well. Who are you really? Wow, the sixth house, sustainability. I'm loving this. I'm going to rearrange the cards in a second. And we have Pluto. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me just rearrange. I'll be back. So who are you really, group one? Well, you're incredible. Okay, I can tell you that. I feel like at the essence of your soul, you are generosity. You're the spirit of generosity, of giving, of love. I feel you have an innocence in your soul's energy. Like, I feel that with the beauty card, there's an innocence, like a light that you have. And I feel that you have chosen, like, almost to volunteer. I feel that your soul has chosen, like, volunteered to be here at this time on Earth to help with Earth's consciousness evolution. And I feel you've made kind of almost like a sacrifice in doing this. Like, you really have chosen to be on Earth at this time. Like, I don't feel like you're here based on past karma. You know how, like, there's sort of the understanding that on Earth, souls can kind of get caught up kind of in the karmic cycles of reincarnation and kind of sorting their stuff out. I feel like your soul is more like been dropped in here, like flown in and dropped into the Earth to create like ripples of change. You have Pluto, which is a really powerful, powerful planet. And with the horse, it's like you're here to help. And the root chakra is like, I feel at a soul level, you just have this loving essence to you. Deep, deep, deep love and compassion. The root chakra energy is very compassionate, and it's for all beings on Earth. Like, I feel like you love animals, you love nature, you love the Earth's consciousness itself, as well as humanity, and wanting to help progress humanity to a higher state of consciousness so that less suffering and harm can be done on this planet, and there can be more of, the new Earth. Like, you are really coded for the new Earth, 100%. So who you are at a soul level is love. I want to say you're just love, pure unconditional love. But you're here for a reason. Like, your soul has sort of been chosen as well for the energy that you're able to give and gift. There's something like deeply loving about your energy, where you're able to love and have compassion where most people aren't. So the energy that you bring to the earth is very transformative with Pluto. Like, Pluto, the rebirth. Yeah, you're here for the earth's rebirth. You're contributing to the earth's rebirth. And with the sustainability, sixth house energy, it could also be about teaching others. Like, I feel like who you are at a soul level, it might be about teaching people or bringing through information or channeled gifts or something to help humanity to evolve. For the butterfly, again, that's a rebirth energy. It's like butterflies go through the different phases of their own evolution. And I feel like you are here to actually be the butterfly, to be a butterfly, and to show people the end state, like the end consciousness state. Like, this might be, I don't feel like maybe you've been on the earth very many times, or if you have, I don't know, you're very good at earth life now, like you're very trained in earth energy, so you're able to be somehow the butterfly. Whereas I feel like a lot of people on earth, it's like this, I'm seeing it being shown to me as different consciousness levels, where it's like there's the caterpillar, there's the chrysalis, and there's the butterfly. And you're here to kind of quickly ascend through those consciousness levels and become your butterfly form and your butterfly self, because it gives others hope. It gives others like a blueprint, sort of what humans can be or what life on earth can be. So you're here to kind of show by example, lead by example, and be the change that you want to see in the world. You distribute codes through your life, like through the way you live. Other humans, other people on earth, other beings on earth, like they get codes about love, about compassion, about how we can come together in oneness and unity consciousness. And you do this really effortlessly, kind of just, yeah, naturally. With the sixth house sustainability coming up underneath the butterfly beauty, like you might have to go through something of an evolution to do with your becoming this butterfly. Like, I don't think you were necessarily born as the butterfly, but more you quickly ascend through those phases and those stages, and you show someone like how to become that end state, that end frequency. Like, you could also, I feel, reach enlightenment in this lifetime. I don't feel enlightenment is as far away as a lot of people feel that it is. Like, I feel, especially for your group, like it's actually so much closer than you realize. And you're kind of getting there just day by day by day with the sixth house. Something to do with health or your daily routine is super important to your mission. Spirit wants you to know this. Like, who you are as a soul is someone who is super disciplined as well. Like, you have discipline energy, and with Saturn in Libra with devotion, it's like you are disciplined. You have some kind of discipline where you're able to maybe like eat an extremely healthy diet and show people how to do this, or heal some kind of physical body illness, or meditate for many, many hours so you reach a point of like, peacefulness. Like, there's something about you are able to put in discipline and hard work, and it comes quite naturally and effortlessly to you. And you're very good at loving yourself and loving your body and treating your body as a temple. And this is who you are as a soul. And if you feel like you're not there right now, then this is reminding you that this is who you are. You really need to be disciplined. You need to be living a healthy lifestyle, because it's just who you are as a soul. And it's also intricately connected to your mission and what you're here to do. So you're here to be of service. And that's something Spirit's saying as well, is that you are very other focused, which is how you're meant to be as well. Like, you're kind of wired to be of service. You're wired to kind of give and show others like how to live and ascend. But you are meant to balance this, because I think that you can maybe slip into self-sacrificing behaviors sometimes, or maybe like wanting to give and give and give until you kind of are burnt out. But the other thing Spirit's saying is to not actually get too caught up in your own life or in your own like dramas, because you're actually here to serve the collective. Like, there's something about, if you focus on how you can be of service, how you can help, that will bring so much more meaning to your life than if you kind of get too egocentric and just focusing on yourself and your own problems and things like this. There's something really important about that, where it's like you're kind of having to balance out being a really giving human and wanting to just give and love and help your community and those you love, and your family and things like this. But you also have to balance that out um, with not self-sacrificing, but you also need to balance that out with not becoming too focused on yourself. Like, it's kind of an interesting dance, and I feel like you might be constantly kind of getting back into balance and finding your way back into balance. Like, I think you're really good at going through kind of readjustments, like keeping on adjusting yourself so that you can remain, yeah, like having a sustainable life path. So you need to be focused on how you are being of service, but you need to make sure that that's done in a sustainable way. I guess that's the best way of putting it. You are meant to be focused on helping others, and like, because that's your mission. Like, you really are on earth, not so much for yourself, but for the greater good, for the greater community, for the greater Earth's evolution, like for the Earth itself. Like, you are friends with Earth. Like, the planet Earth has their own consciousness, and I feel like you know this consciousness well. Like, you almost answered a call from the Earth. Like, the Earth itself put out a call and you answered it, and you're here. It's a really, really sacred energy that you have. With the butterfly and the Pluto card as well, you are definitely a phoenix, okay? You are associated with the phoenix. So the phoenix archetype goes through cycles of death and rebirth. So you got rebirth, and then the butterflies, again, rebirth. So you will have many, many times in your life where you end up kind of reinventing yourself or reinventing your life. Spirit's saying not to get too caught up on any one thing or any identity or anything like this, because you might have a lot of things surprise you as you go through these different evolutions. You change so deeply, like you uncover new and profound aspects of yourself as a soul. So I feel like you're also very multi-talented and multifaceted as a soul, and Spirit's saying just lean into that, just go for it. You don't have to kind of isolate yourself to just being an expert in one thing or just doing one thing. You're gifted in so many ways, and that's sort of how the earth would like you to be. Like, the earth wants you to show up in all of your forms. So I feel like in order for you to kind of express more and more of your soul, it's almost like it couldn't come through all at once when you were born, when you were incarnated. So you go through these cycles where you download more and more and more of who you are, and you become more and more and more in your power. And it's really profound for people in your life to witness this. You have a magic to you that is undeniable. And people are like, how is this possible? But it's because you have a different connection to the earth than most people. And Spirit's also saying, like, it's okay for you to see that. It's okay for you to feel different to most of the people and most of what people are experiencing as their life on earth. Like, you aren't going to have a normal earth experience. You're here to show up, like, for the earth itself. Like, I'm hearing, wow, this reading's really beautiful, good one. Because I'm hearing a noise in my head. I wish I could just like play it for you, but I'm hearing a noise in my head. It's like this calling, like this song of the earth. It's like a sound from the earth itself, the planet's consciousness, and it called to you in the cosmos, and you came home, you came back to help. And I don't feel like this is your home, but it's one of your homes, and you care deeply for the earth's consciousness, and you are here to help the earth to heal and to ascend, and you will help especially get like the earth especially wanted you to help the humans, okay, and the animals, because you've got strong animal consciousness energy coming through. So I feel like you could be a strong animal advocate, like animal rights kind of thing. I feel like that's really in alignment with your soul, super in alignment with the base chakra as well. That's nature, that's animals, that's children, and it's also about soul family. So another message that's coming through is like part of who you are as a soul is that you're kind of also in a soul group. Like, I'm seeing you have a soul family, and those other soul group, soul family members, you incarnated, like, half of you, I feel, I want to say this, okay, half of you incarnated onto the earth at this time, and then half of you are on the other side acting as like spirit guides to your soul group. And you are meant to reunite with your soul family in this lifetime. That's a huge part of your mission and a part of like how you're going to feel in alignment, because I feel like there might have been a lot of grief. This card here, there's like a dead bird on it. And I feel like part of your healing is actually grief. Like, Spirit saying part of who you are as a soul is that you're really able to grieve, okay? This is coming through really interestingly, but Spirit saying that you're meant to be able to cry really deeply and feel feelings really deeply and kind of like weep for the earth itself. Like, you're here to transmute and channel emotions and energies that are deeper than just you. And sometimes this might have been a source of confusion where you wonder, like, where do these energies come from? Why do I feel, you might have felt like you have endless grief inside of yourself. That's what I'm hearing. Like, there's just never ending grief. And that's because on this earth, there is so much pain that has, not really been transmuted. So it's like, I feel like part of the reason your soul is here is because you're really good at transmuting energy. You're really good at alchemizing pain and turning it into lightness again, turning it into something beautiful. So you kind of are meant to process a lot of grief. I'm feeling, especially for your soul, it's grief. It's like hearing that cry from Mother Earth, like it triggered something in your soul, and you wanted to come here to cry for Mother Earth, to help Mother Earth to release pain so that she could move to the next cycle of her evolution, because Mother Earth herself, like, she is evolving, okay? There is a huge consciousness evolution happening on Earth, and you are a part of it. You answered a call. Like, there was a call specifically to your soul because your soul specifically heard it, and it answered it, and it came. And I feel gratitude from all beings on Earth, all beings everywhere. I feel you have sort of like an angelic energy, like an earth angel energy, where when you're here, you bring upliftment, you bring light, you bring love to all beings everywhere, to children, to animals, to the earth, to nature spirits, to interdimensional beings, and to other humans. But I do feel like there may have been sadness about your relationships with humans in this lifetime, like maybe with your family of origin, or a sense of not fitting in with that base chakra, because base chakra can talk about struggling to find belonging. Because the truth is that we only belong, like, we don't necessarily belong to just anyone, okay? And we certainly don't necessarily belong to our family of origin. And you might really resonate with that story. Like, I'm kind of getting the energy of the ugly duckling for you, which I think is just one of the most beautiful, like, archetypal stories. The ugly duckling is about a swan who's born into a family of ducks. And the swan is like, why do I look different to you? Why do I feel different to you? And so they're seen as ugly because they don't fit in. But then they grow up and become this beautiful swan, and they go and they find their swan people. They're other swans, not people. They're other swans. And they realize, like, oh, I was always perfect just the way I am. I was just in the wrong environment. So I feel like you have this, yeah, like this evolution energy, like with the butterfly as well, this rebirth. It's like you might have that resonate with that ugly duckling. Like, you didn't quite fit in for some reason to the place that you were born into. And it like did lead to some kind of sadness, I feel, in your heart around belonging or around finding community or finding your people, or some kind of grief or disappointment about relationships. But Spirit is saying that was actually kind of part of your soul's plan to have that experience. And it's actually bringing you closer to your mission for some reason, to have gone through that. And you are going to find your swans, okay? You are going to find your swan people. You might also resonate with, I keep saying people, it's because you're going to meet people, right? But you're going to meet your swans, and you're going to find that sense of belonging and find that soul family. It's really important for your mission. You also might resonate with the twin flame energy, because the swan, it always makes me think of twin flames, because white swans, they mate for life. They're like, divine counterparts. And so there's something about that. Like, you might have a very, yeah, you have a really devotional kind of soul. So I feel like you would really work well with like one partner, and having a really deep, loving connection with just one person, and being with them throughout many, many decades, and having a very deep, deep bond. So there's something about relationships that, like I said, you've had to learn kind of how to survive without them, or you may have had an imprinting of being like an ugly duckling, like you didn't quite fit in, but you're going to shed that completely and really come into like your swan era and essence if you have not already. I feel that the purity, the innocence, and the integrity that you have as a soul is also very rare on this earth, and you might have noticed that it's quite rare. Like, I feel like you probably don't meet that many people that are like you. I feel like with the horse coming through, like, you are the helper. You are the therapist for your friends. You are the one who helps in your family, in your community. You are always helping and being of service and trying to be there for people and making life on earth, less painful for everyone. So there's something though about the relationships, like once you find your soul family, those are the kinds of people that can help you. Because the truth is that, you're not going to find a lot of support necessarily from just anybody. Like, it really takes a certain and specific kind of soul that can meet you where you are, and then can therefore support you at the level that you need to be supported. And I feel like this sense of being supported is actually something that is probably actually quite foreign to you in this lifetime. Because, like I said, your role has been so much about giving and giving out and helping and being there for others and knowing the answer and having the wisdom and, going that extra mile to show someone that you care. But I feel like for whatever reason, I'm seeing a drought. Like, I'm seeing a desert and I'm seeing a drought where there's like not been a lot coming back in. There's not been a lot coming back in and returning to you. So that's why I feel this very significant message about your soul family, because this is going to put you into balance and make the work that you're here to do on this earth a lot more sustainable. I feel, like I said, there has been this imprint of like not belonging, of giving and giving and giving without really receiving much. But that is something that will be overcome, and you're going to be in relationship with soul family in a way that you learn what it feels like to really receive. And that's going to be new to you, the sense of receiving and giving at the same time in perfect harmony. I feel like you found a lot of belonging through nature and through animals, maybe pets, because that they operate at a much more like innocent level, and that's the level that you operate on as a soul. Like, you're very innocent and divine and pure, and it's like you really need that pure love returning to you. And it's something that like I said, not many humans are able to give. That's just where Earth's at right now. It's like not many humans are in this level of purity and integrity and love, but you are. So you're more of like a model. You're showing people the kind of human being that they can be, and you are a huge source of inspiration and love and healing. Like, you're a deeply healing soul, and you're such a friend on the path. Like, You really have changed the lives of people that you've come into contact with. You genuinely have changed their lives. However, Spirit's saying don't worry about the aspects of your mission that might bring you grief or sadness or disappointment, because I do see that rectifying in the future, okay? If not already for some of you. But I just feel this sense of the sustainability. It's like you will find a much more sustainable way of giving and being in this role of being the giver and kind of needing to help always and serve and uplift and inspire. And it's just like giving and giving and giving. And I just feel like the thing that's out of balance is the sense of community around you. And if you had that sense of community, I really feel like you would find this source of endless love within you. And it's like just because you do need things to come back in, like you're not you're not able to just give and give and give completely without ever receiving anything back in return. It's like not really a sustainable thing. We need balance on this earth. So Spirit's saying the early part of your life or the first part of your life or something has been kind of out of balance. It has been. But you're moving into a different era where it's like things are coming back into balance, and it's usually happening through relationships, like a twin flame devoted partnership, union, like a really deep soulmate connection, or soul family, or all of the above kind of thing. But especially this sense of belonging, like finding your place, finding your people, finding your sense of home on this earth. And it's not going to have to be just through nature or animals or pets. It's like, no, you can find other souls incarnate at this time that are that level of purity that you are, that are that level of innocence of love, that are that depth of light that you hold, because you have a soul family and you're here to do mission work with them. So, yeah, that is your reading, group one. Yeah, beautiful. So that's who you are as a soul, like just in a little brief snapshot. But you're a beautiful soul, and I'm really grateful that you're here on this earth at this time. Like, I'm sending my own gratitude to you, because just existing on this earth uplifts the earth's frequency and vibration for all. So thank you. And if you would like to check out more of my work, then please see the links in the description box below. Much love. Hello, group two. So let's find out, who are you at a soul level? Who are you really as a soul? So we have the sacral chakra. I love this one. You're fun. You're so much fun. And then we have Mercury in Virgo in the 6th house with caution. So I'm not so much getting caution, although maybe that'll come back into the reading, but I'm really getting the Mercury in Virgo. So Mercury in Virgo is exalted, meaning that it's like really powerful. So you have a gift of communication, you have a gift of your words, of your intellect, of your mind. Like, you're incredibly intelligent, and you're also incredibly creative in ways that you communicate. So with the sacral chakra, it could be that you communicate through art or some kind of visual media or music, or writing, but it's something very much about your communication. Like, that's who you are as a soul, and that's sort of like why you are on this earth at this time. Your mission is to do with communication and your art and your creativity and your words. Like, I want to say your voice, even. I feel like there's something powerful about your voice, about your self expression, about your creative self expression. The way that you creatively self express activates this earth, it activates hidden timelines within people. Like, this is wow. Really powerful. It's like your self expression activates hidden timelines within people, and it awakens codes within them, like almost within their DNA. It's like activating for them, and they can become more and more of their true essence through them. You know, actually, the caution energy is coming back in now, and it's more like I feel like you don't act with excessive caution in your creative self expression. A lot of people feel really shut down creatively, and they don't express themselves, and they don't even let themselves create or express because they're afraid of like it not being good enough, or they judge themselves. It's sort of like, have you ever heard about like the power of ugly art or like goofy dancing, where it's like you're not dancing to be cool, you're just dancing to like move your body, or you're just like, doing art therapy, and it's not about it looking beautiful, it's just about expressing something and getting something out of yourself. It's like your soul knows how to do this so well. You have this like amazing mastery. Like, you would actually be a really good art therapist or like dance coach, or someone who leads like I don't know, groups where you kind of help people to let go of self-consciousness and kind of come back into the essence of just creation, and how beautiful that is. I feel like you're such a creative person, and you're also a really good leader. I feel like part of who you are as a soul is like that you are a leader, a teacher, and an inspiration. Like, you're really put on this earth, I feel, to inspire and to show people like that they can live in a more free way. I feel like you're also meant to be kind of like provocative as well, or kind of pushed on, like, what do they say? Push the envelope? I don't know if that even makes sense in my brain, but it's like you're meant to push the boundaries of something. Like you're meant to be kind of provocative or make people, like kind of get people out of their comfort zones and like push through barriers or limitations imposed by societal norms and things like this. Like you are not meant to fit in to the norms or the status quo. Like you're meant to live really outside of that. Be kind of a rebel. Yeah, like your soul as a soul, like you're rebellious. I feel like you're not an order follower, and that is powerful. That is power on this earth. More people need to wake up and not be order followers. So you have this natural independence within your soul, and you're like, no, I'm not going to do it. And I feel like this really, like, people might get triggered by you. You might be meant to trigger people. That might be an aspect of, like, kind of your work in the world is that you trigger people. You might do it unintentionally. You might be like, I don't even try to do it, but it just happens. Or you might kind of enjoy being provocative. A lot of artists are like this way. Like, they might enjoy that energy of kind of provoking the status quo or making people think or making people reflect. You're really good at kind of showing people maybe their shadows. I feel like it's kind of the energy of like people when they're around you, they realize like, man, I'm really way too uptight or I'm way too scared. Like I'm way too cautious in life. Whereas you feel really free and wild and like you just live life on your own terms and you kind of do these bold things. And people are like, man, I should get out more. I feel like people really like look at you and they like kind of compare themselves to you, I have to say. But that's kind of part of how you're meant to be for some reason. Like I know comparison can be a painful energy when it can be painful in relationship and stuff like this. But for some reason, I feel like that's actually kind of how your soul is like people are meant to compare themselves to you because it makes them realize, oh, it makes them think, makes them be like, you know what? I really need to like live life. I feel like I've been holding myself back. Like you really make people realize things. Okay, let's get some astrology cards for you, group 2. Oh, I just realized it's 2 in group 2. Look at that, Neptune vision. You are an artist, okay? You're an artist. Who are you as a soul? You're an artist in every form. 11th house community. Wow. I feel like you're like a popular one. I feel like who your soul is in its essence is kind of popular. Okay? I feel like you're popular. Look at that. Back of the deck, we have Aquarius collaborate. So Aquarius rules the 11th house. So it's like very connected. So it's like, yeah, I feel like you're kind of meant to be, maybe when I say popular, it could be just in life, you have this popularity where like people just like you straight away. They're like, oh my God, I like you. And they might like really want to be your friends and have like really strong feelings for you. But it also could be that you're meant to be famous or like on the world stage. Famous could be like small time, big time, whatever. But it's like something about spirit saying you're kind of meant to be seen and you're meant to kind of evoke a response. You're meant to have people think, make people like, I want to live more like you too. Oh my gosh, we had the fire fairy. Yes. Creative action and optimism. That's it. You're a creative. Like you are a creative. You have also kind of a really strong charisma and really strong magnetism. That's who you are really like. You are very magnetic and also that there is sort of like a sexuality element there where it's like I feel you're very attractive. Like the popularity thing, it's also kind of like people find you very attractive, kind of like irresistible. I feel like you're meant to have a lot of people interested in you, interested in your work, interested in your art. It's kind of like you also have the ability to kind of be larger than life. Like, how musicians, like when they become famous, for example, it's kind of giving me this energy. It's like when a musician becomes famous and then like all of a sudden millions of people are in love with them, and it's like, well, they don't really know them, but they're in love with their energy, with their essence, with their art, with their, with the kind of idealized version of who they think that person is. And it's sort of like, I feel like this is kind of the effect that you have on people where it's like people kind of fall in love with you really easily. Like even if it's just a platonic, in a platonic way, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can just be like people fall in love with you platonically and they just like kind of love you. Even people who are really close with you, they still kind of idealize you in some way. I don't know, you just have this effect on people where it's like you feel larger than life. You feel more than this world. Like you're out of this world. It's like, wow, you're a star. You're incredible. That's who you are. Like, okay, we're going to fill in the rest of your cards. I think we'll just give one more. Oh my gosh. The bee. Luck, industriousness, sweet victory. Yeah, and see, I heard queen bee, or king bee, depending on, how you resonate. But it's like, you do have this energy of like, you're the queen, okay? You're the queen bee. You're the one that everyone wants to sit next to in class and talk to, or, it's like, I want you to pick me. There's something about if you want to be someone's friend or you want to date someone, it's like, they feel genuinely lucky. Like, they're like, wow, I'm lucky. So you have this impact on people. you just feel so popular to me, group 2. Like, you're really popular. You know, I think you're more popular than you realize. I feel like sometimes you might even underestimate yourself, and because you kind of just normalize yourself and you're like, "Yeah, well, just am who I am." But I feel like you don't realize that, you're very uncommon. You're a rare find. You're a rare person on this earth, and it's like people really take notice of this. I feel this also this sense of like people might feel this sense of like, "Oh my gosh, I really don't want to let you go, or I don't want to lose you," because you feel so rare that it's like, how am I ever going to find someone like this? And the other thing is that people around you, even if they're just like following you or following your artwork, or they're your friend, or, dating you, whatever, they feel like they get upgrades from just being around you because you're constantly in this energy of like evolution and change. With the fire fairy and the bee, you really seem like you have the Midas touch. Like everything you touch turns to gold, and people want to be around you because they feel your fortune. They feel this fame energy brewing within you, or it's already there for you. It's like they're like, wow, I want to be around this person. I want some of this light that they seem to bask in every day. You really have this glow, this light. Like you as a soul, like who you are really is like so bright. Like you are such a bright light. And I feel like this is part of the reason why I keep getting this energy of like popularity or being on this world stage in some way, being seen, being kind of a public figure. And it's like, yeah, because I feel spirit wants you to share this light. I feel like it makes more sense. Like spirit's like, yeah, of course, put yourself out there because this light is meant to be shared. Like this light is not meant to be hidden behind like a curtain or a closed door or whatever. It's just not the way that you're designed. Like you are big, you are bold, and you're meant to be bold. Like that's the other thing. I feel like if you've ever had this caution energy within you, it's like something that you're meant to cleanse out of yourself, like cleanse and clear, because you are bold. Like that is who you really are, and that is kind of how you're meant to be. I feel like your creative projects, like your creative vision is so incredible. People love whatever it is that you create. They think you're a creative genius. Like I am hearing many people have already at this time in life already called you a creative genius, and there's many, many more to come. I feel like you're kind of here to serve in a more communal way, like with the 11th house community. Again, I feel like you would just be really good as some kind of a leader in terms of having having maybe a social media following, or being a musician or some kind of an artist, or like I don't know, being a teacher or a leader of some kind. I don't really get teacher though because I feel like that wouldn't be as fun to you. Like I feel like there's something about I feel like there's something about your soul that wants to have fun, and I feel like you're more in love with just the raw creative essence of life, where it's like you're just creating. Like you would be great as a performer. Okay, that's more of what I'm feeling, is like a performer, like a musician, an artist, a dancer, um, a social media personality, like I don't know, a channeler, a psychic, this kind of thing. I feel like there's something, and if you, this is something maybe you're meant to move into if you don't feel like you're quite there yet, because I feel like this is who you are as a soul. Is like you're kind of meant to more be, yeah, the be. It's like this be, like it's genuinely you're meant to be, like who you are is the codes, okay? So it's not necessarily like what you have to teach, or like, writing a seminar, writing a book. It's more like who you are, how you live your life, the way that you self express, the way that you dance in the rain, the way that you, I don't know, create artwork out of the sand at the beach. It's like, that's who you are. And it's like all of you is just this creative dynamite. Like it's so incredible. So it's like I feel like you're finding your path, you're finding your way of like how to self-express in the world that kind of meets all those sweet spots of like, the ikigai. It's like what your gifts, like what does the world need? How do you get paid for it? Like all those things when they intersect, it's like that's your sweet spot. And for some of you, like you might still be growing into it. Actually, I feel for all of you, because who you are as a soul is huge. Okay. Your light is so big. I don't think you have finished grounding it yet. So it's like there still is more for you to unfold and uncover, like within yourself, within your gifts. How you're perceived by others is so lucky. Like, okay, this is what I was saying before about people compare themselves to you. There could also be a lot of jealousy and envy. So, like, people, if they're feeling low vibrational, they may feel quite jealous and envious of you. You might trigger that. Even if you're having a rough day, or even if you're in your pajamas, it's like people might still be jealous of you, and you might be like, what the heck? Why are you jealous of this? But it's because you have this energy that you just seem to be like favored by the divine. That's the word. It's like you seem to be favored by the divine. People are like, how are you so successful? How are you so creative? How are you such a genius? How are you so compelling in the way that you communicate? Like you have a real charisma to you, group too, like charisma, charm, magnetism. It's like undeniable. So I feel like there can be some jealousy from like people who are maybe feeling more low vibrational or who are low vibrational. But there's also the sense of comparison that can also just be natural, spirit saying, where it's like sometimes people need to compare something that they've got going on to you and be like, you know what? I never just create art for therapy. I always put an expectation on it that it has to be really beautiful. And then maybe seeing you just creating art for therapy, they're like, I need to do more of that. So it's like that's sort of an example of like a healthy comparison where they compare the way they live their life to the way you live your life. And they're like, you know what? I need to be a bit more like group two. So it's like you really inspire, I think, more than you realize, because I feel like a lot of the time, the way that you impact people, they don't necessarily tell you as much. Like, I think that they might feel a bit embarrassed to be like, oh my God, you changed my life. Like, I love you so much. You're amazing. Like, I feel a gushing. I feel a gushing energy where it's like people gush when if they open the floodgates to tell you how they feel, they just end up gushing and they're like, I think you're amazing. I love you so much. And you've changed my life. Like this kind of thing. It's because you have, like, you genuinely have that ability. And this is why I feel like you just are meant to be positioned in the world stage in some way, because you are meant to change people. You are meant to change people's lives. And Spirit's saying and reminding you that your life path, like who you are as a soul, you need to have fun. You must have fun. So if you get caught up in a job, in a role, in an identity, or whatever it might be, a relationship where it's like you really don't have any fun, that is not the right thing for you. That is not in alignment, because you are your greatest form, your greatest self, your highest timeline when you are having fun. And you're really good at having fun. Like you can have fun in the most boring of places, is what I'm seeing. You can have fun with just about anybody because it's an energy within you. So I feel like though sometimes you might have things that kind of like steal your fun. There might be things that you end up doing or actions like kind of programming, like that might start coming out that's not you, like subconscious programming. That's what I'm getting. Where it's like spirit saying you have to clear any subconscious programming that like keeps you from having fun, because you're meant to just have a really fun life and live a very creative essence. Like I'm kind of seeing the archetype of like a really wild musician that like lives for their art and they tour and they're just playing gigs and it's like, whoa, like let's just go, 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 go. Like, I'm not really seeing, there's obviously a darker side of that to like substance abuse and like promiscuity and things like this, but I'm just meaning more like the wildness, the wild archetype of something. Like, not so much, doing things that put your body in harm's way or whatever, but it's like just the wildness of you. That's who you are. Like, you're meant to be wild and free and fun. Like, life is meant to be fun to you. Every day a new adventure. So, again, I'm being drawn into the bee, like the bee spirit, luck, industriousness, sweet victory. The way that you're meant to work is also just through being. Like, you know how they say that kind of phrase of like, you're meant to, you get paid for just being yourself, okay? That is you. That is 100% you, group two. Like, you are meant to be paid to be yourself, whatever that is, whatever being yourself is. And maybe there has to be a journey where you really discover that, or you discover like deeper levels of your art or your creativity, because you are so deep. Like, who you are is also very deep, and you have many layers and maybe a lot of complexity at times as well. And I also see you kind of being very self-focused, but also that's meant to be. Like, you're meant to be kind of focused on yourself. Like, this is why I'm seeing like social media personality would suit you really well as well, because it's like you're meant to kind of be focused on yourself, taking photos of your live, vlogging, showing the way that you create your art, or showing your music, showing your touring. Um, being kind of like this idol, this archetype, and kind of like, yeah, focusing on yourself rather than like being, and then having the community surrounding you and like benefiting from you, rather than being really hands on and one on one and stuff like that. It's like, I feel like you're meant to reach many, many people all at once. Rather than, like I said, I feel like if you got too caught up in the one on one, it would feel too mundane and it might feel a bit boring or like, yeah, kind of holding you back. I feel like you're meant to reach masses of people all at once. Just like a musician, it's like it doesn't make as much sense for a musician to play a gig one-on-one, although that would be kind of nice. I guess it's kind of like romantic or something. But I feel like obviously musicians usually they play to like thousands and thousands of people, and it's like there's something about the way that you transmute. Oh, interesting. But I was going to say transmit, like the way that you channel energy, because whatever you do, you're channeling, okay? With whatever artwork, whatever creative genius that you are, that you express yourself as, that you just are, because you got the B, that you just are, it's just who you are. Whatever this creative genius is for you, it's meant to be transmitted to a lot of people. Kind of like I'm seeing a stereo where it's like everyone can listen to it, rather than headphones where it's like just you can listen. It's meant to be on a stereo playing loud for like the whole world to hear and for the whole world to be able to listen and tune in. Yeah, there's something about that. It's like almost like I'm seeing radio frequencies now where it's like radios, obviously you play a radio and then so many people can listen to it all at once, all around the world. And it's like, that's how spirit wants you to release your energy into the world. It's like, you're meant to reach many, many people and be exactly who you are. Like, you're meant to be that. So you might also need to also validate yourself if you really enjoy just doing things where you get lost in the moment, because that's also who you are as a soul. It's like, you're really good at just getting lost in the moment, like, getting lost in the moment of whatever it is that you're doing, just kind of getting lost in the beingness of life. And I feel like people get lost in the moment with you, and this is sort of a hypnotic effect that you have, like a mesmerizing effect, like a very enchanting energy. People, when they're around you, they get lost in the moment. It's like, you really, yeah, you also help people to transmute emotions, I'm seeing. You help people to transmute emotions and lighten up. Like, you genuinely help people lighten up, which I feel like is such a beautiful gift in this world where there's so much heaviness and darkness. Is like, you genuinely bring light and you help people to lighten up and lighten their spirits and lighten their loads. And it's permanent as well. It's not just when they're around you. It's like a permanent shift where they genuinely feel lighter from being around you, or from knowing you, or from encountering your art, or from being your friend. I feel like you're also the most successful when you're not really trying to be successful. Like, there's something about not trying that makes you really magnetic, or like, I don't know, there's something about that where it's like, just getting lost in the art of it, just getting lost in the making of your music, right? Or in the action of life. Like, there's something about really getting lost in the movement, in the making, in the creative process. That's what makes you the most successful. And the enjoyment that you have of it makes you so magnetic. So Spirit's saying, like, kind of reminding you to kind of just get lost, fall back in love with your artwork. Like, I feel like your soul, it doesn't work as well with really focusing on striving and achieving and numbers and status and ambition. Like, I think you might have ambition within you, which is obviously great, but it's like something about your real success, like your biggest success, like when you reach the highest heights of your success, it kind of comes without you trying. It kind of comes without you even thinking about it, because you just get lost in the moment of your art. And that is such a powerful frequency that is so magnetic to the world. That is what makes you so successful, is your magnetism. And your magnetism comes without you trying. And it almost like, if you try to try, if you kind of try too hard, it kind of like messes with that magnetism, and it makes it kind of like harder for people to receive that essence of your frequency. I also feel like you just have this energy where, even just sharing about your day, like, I'm kind of getting now again like the energy of people who do social media, who kind of, I don't know, they tell you their grocery haul. It's like, here's what I got from the shops, and like, here's what I'm making for dinner, or this is what I eat in a day. Like, I don't know, just really basic kind of videos, but because of your energy, like, people feel really drawn in. They want to listen to you just talk about nothing. It doesn't even have to be about anything. Not that I'm saying that you don't have substance, because you do, but it's like, and you have a lot of substance and intellect and intelligence actually as well to share, and your creative genius like comes through no matter what you're talking about. But there's also something about just your essence that people are drawn to. Like, you could literally be talking about your grocery list and people would be like, wow, I love you. That's the kind of impact you have on people. Is like, people are like, wow, I freaking love this person. And it's like, you don't even necessarily have to be doing that much. Like, I really feel that for you. It's like, there's something about your beingness, just who you are, just your essence, just your voice, just the way that you think about things and think about life and structure your sentences, and the way that you have this charisma and this way of making people feel warm and alive and inspired and adventurous. It's like, wow, you really have this effect on people. So life is an adventure. I feel like you really know how to live life and make life feel like it's worth living. Like, people, when they're around you, they feel like they're living life to the fullest. Like, they genuinely feel that. And I feel like you are someone who always pushes the limits on your own life. Like, you always want to push out and strive to be kind of like more and more adventurous and living without fear. I feel like you really challenge yourself. That's also who you are. You want to challenge yourself. And you're meant to go through these cycles of basically ridding yourself of fear so that you can truly live the adventure of life fully. Like, that is who you are as a soul. Like, you are an adventurer. You are here to have an adventure and to help uplift humanity with light. Like, you are here to bring light and uplift, but you're here on an adventure. Like, your own soul is here. Like, I want to have fun. I'm here to adventure. I'm here to climb a mountain and go skydiving and ride a roller coaster and, swim in the oceans and do all of these actions. Like, that's another thing, is that you're really good at taking action and getting lost in the doing of things. Like, you'd be a really good athlete or dancer as well. I think that's also who you are. like who you are really is like you're meant to move your body all the time. You're meant to be in constant movement. And also I think you would work really well to change location or to travel, to keep moving around. Like I kept seeing a musician on tour and how it's like every new spot activates you in a different way. All right, group 2, that is all we have time for. But wow, who you are as a soul is just so full of light. I'm sending you so much love and light back. And if you would like to check out more of my work, please see the links in the description box below. Much love. Hello, group 3. So let's find out, who are you really? Ooh, you're the crown chakra, freedom. Oh, and then we have the romance card. So what is this? This is Venus in Taurus in the 2nd house with romance. Ooh la la. Okay. So, okay. I feel like you have an energy of being in love with life. Like you do have quite a romantic energy, like a classical kind of romance energy. Oh, very interesting. I feel like you really evoke people falling in love with you or falling in love with your work, but it's in a very romantic, kind of innocent way rather than kind of in a raw, like sexuality way, which I felt like more from group 2. This feels more like pure love, like pure hearted love. I feel like you evoke a lot of devotion from people around you. And I feel like people as well, they might really want to partner with you in all ways. Like could be friends, more than friends, obviously, as well. There's something about you seem like a really amazing partner. You seem like just this perfect kind of friend. Like I feel like people really might idolize you as well because you have a lot of loving energy within you. But with the crown chakra, you kind of also have this detachment energy. Like I feel a little bit like your energy is quite hard to grasp, but like hard to get in contact with. You might be hard to get in contact with or hard to reach in some way. There's something about you seem unattainable, unreachable, and this actually makes you more compelling and more magnetic. There's something about people not being able to access your energy which makes them want your energy even more. I feel like you have strong beliefs, group 3, and I think this is partly like this seems to be something connected to your soul, like this strong sense of justice, of wanting to fight for what you feel is right. And I feel like this is partly why people like fall in love with you or something or love you, is because you make them feel things with the romance card. Like you really deeply move people. You could be a really inspiring speaker, or you change people's perception. Like you show someone that something's important that maybe they weren't seeing before. I don't know, get a really strong sense of justice with your soul group. A lot of justice energy. Like you are kind of maybe really connected to a sense of justice or wanting justice for this earth and understanding justice in like a really deep way compared to, I feel like a lot of people, it just doesn't really cross their mind, like, or something like this, whereas for you it's like always on your mind, or it's like the way that you live your life. You have a strong moral compass, you know about morality, and you live that way. So there's something about your soul's energy where it's like you actually are meant to be highly moral and like also kind of teach others and show people about morality and sort of how to live in alignment with natural law. There is a very detached energy to your soul. Like I feel like you're highly spiritual. Well, not your soul, but like the way that your soul manifests on earth, like who are you? It feels like you're quite detached, but that again, it makes you very magnetic. It makes you very compelling. People really feel drawn to you. Like of all walks of life, people are drawn to you. And you have sort of this detached essence where you're kind of, I don't know, you're not super invested or something in relationships. There's a detachedness to your life. Like you're kind of, I think it's your authenticity as well. Like I feel like you're not a people pleaser. And this is actually something that people really love about you. Like I'm not saying that you're not, diplomatic and things like that, because I feel you are. You have a lot of integrity, you have a lot of morality, but you also don't people please. You're very authentic and you kind of don't mind if people don't like you. You're like, okay, that's fine with me, and then you move on. And so people again find this extremely compelling. It makes you like more interesting because of this. So let's pull a couple of these Avalon cards for who are you really. Oh my gosh, look at that. The deer, gentleness, diplomacy. So you do have this very diplomatic, like justice kind of energy to you. I feel that. But the gentleness is, you're not going to, there's no violence in your energy field, right? It's like I feel like you have a very gentle way of wanting justice. And one more card, Spirit. Kind of want to pull some cards and then we'll get into it. Wow, birth, rebirth. Powerful. Really powerful. Okay, birth, rebirth. We're going to pull a few more cards. We'll pull some of these astrology cards for your group as well. Who is group 3 really, Spirit? Sagittarius, there's that morality. Always doing what is right and seeking the truth at all costs. Like, I feel like you don't pitch your tent, okay? This is a really interesting phrase. It's like, we're all going up the mountain of ascension, right? And then at different points, people pitch their tent and they're like, you know what, this is far enough for me, or this is a high enough truth that I don't need to go any further. But with the Sagittarius energy, like, that is the highest truth. You want the highest truth of all things. You want the highest timeline. You want you want to reach enlightenment. Like, I feel like there's an ambition in your soul where it's like you do not pitch your tent halfway up the mountain. You want to go all the way. You want to see what the view is like from the top. And then we have Aquarius. So you are super Age of Aquarius energy, group 3. You're a strong humanitarian soul. Like, you really have a vision. You're a visionary. I feel that's your soul. Like, you have a vision. You have a vision for your life. Like, this current lifetime, you came in with a strong vision. That was why you incarnated. It's like you incarnated for the good of the whole. You incarnated for the greater good. Like, it really is something about your humanitarian gifts. Like, you're giving to the earth. And with the birth, rebirth, and Aquarius, like, this feels like the age of Aquarius, right? The rebirth of the earth. I feel like this is why you're here. This is who you are as a soul. It's like you are helping to literally usher in the age of Aquarius, the new earth. Like, you are a huge aspect of this new earth. Like, you seem to play a really important role and your soul is super coded for it. And there's something about your ascension journey, like who you are as a soul is like an ascension soul. Like, you're here to help others with ascension and you ascend rapidly. Like, I think that you have ways of like working things through that's like super, super rapid. You might also have a romantic partner who is like an ascension partner for you, like a twin flame or a soulmate, because I feel like you're meant to go through layers upon layers upon layers of ascension. And this is what I was saying about how you don't give up, you don't pitch your tent, because most people are like, they really can't handle this level of ascension. Like, this level of ascension is so deep and it's so all encompassing. It takes a lot of sacrifices. It takes like walking a very narrow pathway in life, and we have to let go of things that like do not serve us. And that is a lot easier said than done. But you have this ability to do that because you are doing it for the greater good. You're doing it for the highest good of all. And it's really encoded into who you are as a soul. Like, you are an ascension soul. Like, you are here to ascend the earth. Like, I feel like this might be a role that you actually play as a soul in many different places of existence, not just upon this earth, where you actually go there and you incarnate there and you help that place ascend. You bring through codes that quickens the ascension journey, and you time it well as well, because obviously the earth itself, the earth's own consciousness is going through an ascension journey. So it's like you come and you're meeting it there and you're helping with this. But this is a very special like energy that you have, and it's really not for everyone. Like, I feel like you're not for everyone, but I feel like as well you're okay with that. And just because you're not for everyone, it doesn't make you change who you are at all. So you have this sort of ruthlessness energy, like, but in a good way. I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean it in a positive way, because you're able to stay detached and make judgment calls that most people are unable to make because they have too many attachments. Like what I was saying about pitching the tent, it's like maybe someone doesn't want to let go of a harmful job or a harmful relationship, some kind of toxic dynamic that they're engaging with, or they don't want to let go of, I don't know, eating some kind of low vibrational food or substance or drugs or alcohol or something like this. And it's like, I feel like your soul on ascension is just like so hardcore that you're just like, I can do it, I can do it. And you let go of things, you detach with the crown chakra in ways that most people find they cannot do. Like, I think most souls, like, even if their goal is ascension, like I said, it's easier said than done. We get caught up in different pleasures or attachments or relationships that we don't want to leave. We don't want to have to let go of it. But there's something about who you really are as a soul. It's like you're able to just shed those layers and keep on going and keep on going. You might even be like quite detached, even to the point where maybe people have made comments about this before. It's like, how are you able to do this? Or you're so heartless or something. Like, some people might misinterpret and see it as kind of a cruel aspect of your energy, but it's actually just because you're doing what's right for everyone. You're doing what's right for the whole, and you have the greater good in mind, and you must stay aligned to your mission. Like, I feel like you as a soul, like whenever you incarnate somewhere, you have a strong mission. You're kind of like a little bit like a secret agent, like a spy. I feel like that's who you are as a soul, is like you're kind of like James Bond energy, and it's like you get called up for a mission. And you know how like James Bond, they get called up, they're like 007, you know, It's kind of like this energy where it's like I feel like you have that archetypal energy in your soul, and it's always like I feel you got a call and you got invited. Like, would you like to go on this mission to Earth and to help the Earth at this time? And you're like, okay, I'll do it. And you come here and you treat it just as hardcore as like James Bond does, right? It's like yeah, you have this also this kind of energy. Like I'm going into this James Bond and I hate this archetype of you being like a spy. Is that you kind of are here to beat the bad guys. Like I feel like you have an energy where you kind of want to end evil or something like this. Like there's something about you fighting the bad guys or fighting the evil in the earth and like bringing about the new earth and helping with that. And there's something about you have this fearlessness. Like you're able to do that in ways where like most people are too afraid or they don't want to go there or they don't even want to acknowledge like this dark side of duality. They're like, no, it doesn't exist. It's fine. Whereas I feel like you're really good at acknowledging that darkness and that dark side. And that's why I feel like you're so sort of you're so one with this energy of what of justice. Like you have this connection to justice that can also be kind of like hard because you have to also, I think, in order to be as connected to justice as you are, you have to also see the suffering of the world and the pain of the world and the ways that things in the world are out of balance or unfair. Like I feel like you're really connected to this sense of fairness. And instances of injustice, they really irk you at a soul level. Like they really get to you, they get under your skin. And it's because you care more than most people do. But you have this very interesting energy with the crown chakra where you're also able to stay detached towards things that most people aren't able to. Like I feel like you don't have an addictive personality, or at least that's not really who you are as a soul. Like you're meant to be kind of like free. Like I see you as kind of sober, like so that you can focus on your mission. Like you seem very focused on the task at hand. Like, why are you here? That's like, what is your role? What is your mission? And I feel like you almost have a really clear cut, like mission, a really narrow pathway for how you need to stay in alignment. And I feel like who you are as a soul is someone who is like ruthlessly in alignment. And that's what I mean. It's like whatever decision you have to make to be in alignment, you will do it. No questions asked. You don't even hesitate. You're like, yep, if this is what's right, I'm doing it. And that is an energy that a lot of people do not have because, like I said, they get caught up in attachments and they don't want to let go or they, all these things like like illusions and delusions. Like I feel like you as a soul, you're really good at breaking through illusions and delusions and seeing truth. And you're really good actually at taking feedback from people. Like if someone comes to you and says, hey, I think you're being like delusional about this, like you would genuinely think about what they had to say. I feel like you're really good at like taking feedback, like constructive criticism. For some reason that's coming through as like who you are as a soul is like you're really good at that. Whereas like most people, they get offended and all these things. And that's what I mean about this detached energy where it's like you don't get too attached to the emotions or to people pleasing or to someone liking you or to whatever. It's like you're like, oh, if that's the truth, then that's the truth. And I want to know it. It's like you want to know the truth at all costs, whatever it means, whatever consequences it is, because that is how you stay in alignment and that is how you get your mission done, which is the whole reason that you're even here in the first place. So I feel like you have, like I said, a really strong connection to justice. You seem to be like a spy here on a mission. I don't know if spy is the right word, but like a secret agent. Like it's sort of like a secret. Like I feel like you're kind of undercover in this earth plane. Like maybe no one knows exactly like what a powerful soul you are and you kind of just blend in, but it's like here you are. You're like undercover. Like there's something secretive about your soul as well. Maybe you are good at secrets or you're something about your identity is kept hidden or I don't know, people can't really read you. Like, I feel like you'd have a really good poker face. Like, people can't really read your energy. They're like, how do they feel? Do they like me? Do they do they not like me? Like, there's something kind of blank and neutral about your energy. And I think that also you can really make people feel uncomfortable because of this, because you don't really participate in, I don't know, like the niceties of human behavior, like where we kind of overly compliment each other or really go above and beyond to like make someone feel welcome. I feel like you kind of just like show up as you are and you're very authentic and it's like very raw and you're just like, hello, and there's not all these frills attached. So it's like people, I feel you might be quite polarizing, like people kind of love you or hate you kind of thing. I do feel that for you. But again, it doesn't really bother you because I feel like because you're very detached, you've actually had a lot of success in attracting the right people for you, like the right romantic partners, the right friends, whatever it might be, that whoever or whatever it is that you need on your path. Like I really feel this 007 like secret agent for your group like really strongly. Whereas like how in James Bond like he's always given these like gadgets or like these fancy cars or like whatever it is that he needs for his mission to be successful, like he will be given these things to assist it. So I feel like there's something about this where you have a relationship with the universe because you're doing this mission, like, for the highest good of all, is that you're kind of supported and um, you're given things to help you along, like you're given gadgets or people or opportunities or some kind of thing. I also feel like you are highly favored by the divine. And this is because you really understand natural law and you understand how to stay on the right side of natural law in terms of being in alignment with like your integrity. Like you really know how to stay in alignment with integrity, like again, no matter what it takes. And you really know how to stay in alignment in general. And this is like truly an art form. Like it's a skill that you have and you're really highly skilled. Like you're very good at what you do. Like you are an expert soul. And that's why you get called up and you're like, only you can achieve this mission right now. Like that's what I feel. It's like you get called up because you're an expert at something. Um, and they need you. Like that's energy. And then you get kind of like flown in and you have to like skydive into this like new incarnation, right? And you keep going through it. You're like, yeah, okay. And every lifetime is like a new mission. And it almost like I see you traveling around the galaxies. Like I don't even think you stay in one place for very long because like I said, you're very detached. Like you're like, well, I'm not here for long, can't stay long. Like I'm not gonna get too attached. There's something about that. Like I always feel like you have a very independent energy as well. Like I think you do well on your own, even though I said like you might be have a romantic partner and things like that. If it's appropriate for the mission, you will. But if you need to do a mission on your own, you're perfectly capable of that. You're perfectly capable of like living a lifetime kind of in solitude in a way because you have this real independence at a soul level and it's also through your connection to the divine. Like you have a very strong connection to the divine. I feel you also have this sort of archetype of being an investigator or a detective. Like I feel like you can solve problems or solve puzzles. And you're also really, really good at seeing through deception and seeing through illusion. I feel like that's something of really who you are innately as a soul is like you can see when someone's lying, you can see when there's sort of this when the wool's being pulled over people's eyes. It's like you don't have that you don't fall for it. You don't fall for things in a way that most people do. And this is something that really sets you apart from other souls and other people is that you don't fall into illusion easily and you're also hyper vigilant if you do. Like you're also not delusional enough to think that you couldn't fall into illusion either. Like I feel like you're very aware that you could necessarily have blind spots at any one moment. So you want to be hyper aware that of how the universe might communicate them to you. And this is what I mean about you kind of take constructive criticism very well, where you're like, oh, I want that. I want to know because I want to grow. I want to know because I want to grow. Whereas a lot of people, like, they might take it personally and kind of like feel like, oh, this means that I'm not good enough and, like kind of get into their emotions about it. But for you, it feels like you're very kind of emotionally detached. So you're able to take that feedback from the universe and be like, yes, I can use this to become a better person and to become better at what I do. With the Dear card, gentleness and diplomacy, though, you do have a strong heart in you. Like, I know I've talked a lot about detachment and kind of things like that, but you also care. Like, you do care very deeply. And that's partly why I think you even have this role in the universe of like being called up for missions and being sent all around the galaxies. Like, I really feel like you don't stay somewhere very long. Like, you stay for as many incarnations as it takes to like achieve what you've set out to achieve. And you always achieve what you achieve. Like, you're very good at what you do. I feel like you're a highly specialized soul and you're really good at what you do. Like, you're very wise, very intelligent, very high vibrational, and you just achieve whatever it is that the mission has said. It's like it will be done. I don't know, it's really interesting. It's like I feel like you're very favored by the divine as well, and people might notice this about you, like how are you so lucky, or how do things like fall into place for you? And it's like I said, it's like it kind of isn't a secret, but the way that you live your life, like people feel it's mysterious or they don't know, they can't read you, they don't understand it. But to you, it's very obvious, and you're like, well, I stay in alignment, so I'm supported. Like it's very black. I feel like things can be black and white for you, like almost a simplistic kind of way of seeing things where I feel like a lot of people can get caught up in like overcomplicating life or overcomplicating, I don't know, decisions or like ways of thinking. Whereas you have this like high level intelligence where it's like things can become quite simple. And you're like, of course I'm in alignment. Therefore, of course I'm supported, or of course things work out for me. And you're like, well, it's very simple. If I wasn't in alignment, then things would start going haywire and all these things will start happening. So I feel like you kind of term this investigative sort of detective towards yourself as well, where you're constantly kind of scanning yourself and scanning for like, where's my blind spot? What am I not seeing? Where do I need to integrate more truth? Like, how do I need to become more aware, more conscious? Like, you have a really, kind of a relentless energy. Like, you're extremely persevering. persevering, and I feel like that's kind of who you are as a soul. It's like you just don't give up. Like I said, like many people, they might pitch their tent halfway up the mountain, but it's like you would never even dream of that. You would walk all night if it took that, because you want to get to the top, and that means completing something. So I feel like who you are really, you have a lot of wisdom with the Sagittarius energy. Like you carry deep wisdom inside of you. I feel like you're a mystery to most people. There's something about you that feels like they can't quite get to you. They can't quite understand you. They want to figure you out. They want to study you. They want to research you. They think you're quite incredible. And you also have like a very strong intelligence with the Aquarius. Like you're very bright, very, very intelligent, very smart, very sort of like high IQ kind of energy. And so you bring this in to the earth, like you bring this in with your mission. But again, it's like kind of who you are, the deepest level though. Like you bring this into all of your missions, wherever you go. You have this wisdom that is from like not just this incarnation, it's from so many incarnations accumulated, so many missions that you've achieved, so many things that you've been able to um heal. Like, I feel like you also do have this healing energy, but it's healing in terms of healing from injustice. Like, I really feel like that is your niche, is that you want to end injustice in the world and in all worlds, in all universes kind of thing. Like, that is kind of just like how James Bond, he like fights the bad guys, right? And he tries to make the world a better place. Like, well, that's what he claims to do, or whatever. I don't know. I don't know James Bond very well, but it's that kind of energy where it's like you are fighting the bad guys across all time and space. And it's sort of like, I feel like your soul, like it almost has this thing of like wanting to bring goodness to every place. Like you want to bring fairness and goodness everywhere, to all places. And it's almost like you won't rest until it's done. So yeah, you have like high ambition. You have a lot of skill, integrity, and wisdom that the universe calls upon you, like to go far and wide. Like I feel like you've traveled, like you are a soul traveler. You've traveled to so many different places of existence, and probably you enjoy traveling on this earth plane as well. All right, group 3, that's all we have time for today, but I so enjoyed tuning in with your energy. And if you would like to check out more of my work, then please see the links in the description box below. Much love.